What's up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and today's Dread Edict build video is one that I think I posted over 6 weeks ago. However, there was a rendering issue. I took the video down. I thought I reposted the video, but I guess I didn't, and many of you have reached out to the channel asking for a build based around this weapon. It really is a lot of fun to use, so today I want to show you one of my favorite ways to run with it. Now, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, and remember, we are currently having a giveaway for PlayStation 5. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winner will be announced on October 2nd of this year. We are going to jump right into the build, my friends. However, one thing I mention at the beginning of every build video I put out is I want to remind especially new and returning players that this is just a template. This is one of so many different ways you can run with a build like this. The most important thing is to truly take your time and cater something towards your game style. As always, my friends, we're starting off with the specialization, and you want to use sharpshooter for a bunch of different reasons. First of all, you're going to get a 15% increased headshot damage bonus, as well as a 15% increased weapon stability bonus, and there's also the sharpshooter tactical link, which is going to give all group members that are closer to enemies and you are an extra 10% headshot damage bonus as well. And since with a build like this you're typically towards the back and cover, all of your allies should be getting that bonus constantly. And remember, regardless of which specialization you choose, always have the proper weapons activated in your weapon skill tree. That way you're always getting that 15% weapon damage bonus regardless of which weapon you have equipped. Needless to say, my primary weapon for this build is the Dread Edict, and it is a guaranteed drop in the current season at level 55. Now, the reason it's so effective is because of the talent Full Stop, where shooting enemies builds stacks to a cap of 20. Headshots grant 2 stacks. Each stack grants 2% weapon damage and 5% headshot damage. On reload, clear all stacks and gain 5% of your max armor as temporary armor for 10 seconds for each stack removed. And not only that, but at the bottom you can see headshot kills with the Dread Edict restore all bullets in the magazine. This does not count as a reload. Now, moving on to my secondary weapon, I'm using the Carbine 7, one of my favorite ARs in the game, with the talent Ranger, which amplifies weapon damage by 2% for every 5 meters you're away from a target. Now, when it comes to your secondary weapon, that's completely up to you. It's totally interchangeable. If you want to use a different weapon or talent, that's fine as well, obviously. And as far as the sidearm, don't really touch it that often with this build. Now on to the gear itself. You can see I'm running 3 Walker and Harris, 1 Araldi, 1 Providence, and Sawyer's knee pads. So starting off with the mask, it's the first piece of Walker and Harris, and we're running 3 so we get all of the gear set bonuses. So with the mask, it's going to give us a 5% weapon damage bonus, and with everything, I'm trying to stack crit hit chance, crit hit damage, and weapon handling. You can also try to stack headshot damage as well. Once we're done with the build breakdown, I'll go over why I chose to stack my attributes that way. Now moving on to the chest, it's the one piece of Araldi. It is the named body armor pristine example, and it has the talent Perfect Focus, which increases total weapon damage by 6% every second you are aiming while scoped 8 times or higher up to 60%, and it requires a scope with 8 times magnification or higher. Now, if you don't have this body armor, that's fine. You could use any piece of Araldi, and we're using Araldi so we get that extra 10% marksman rifle damage, and you can just roll the regular talent focus onto that piece. Now, moving on to the holster, it's the second piece of Walker and Harris we have equipped, so we get that extra 5% damage to armor bonus. Now, on this piece, I'm trying to stack crit hit chance and crit hit damage. And as we make our way to the knee pads, this is another one of those areas where you do have a lot of options. Now, I'm using Sawyer's knee pads, gives me that extra armor, plus it has the talent stand your ground, because when you're in cover and staying still, you're getting up to a 30% weapon damage bonus. Now, if you don't have these knee pads, that's totally fine. I mean, you could use a second piece of Araldi here, which would give you an extra 15% headshot damage bonus. You could also use Fox's Prayer knee pads because it has the attribute 8% damage to targets out of cover, which absolutely melts NPCs. Moving on to the gloves, it's the third piece of Walker and Harris, which gives me that 5% damage to health bonus. Now, you can also use Contractor's gloves, one of the best gloves still in this game. Now, one thing I want to make sure I mention as we move on to the backpack is that once again, this is one of those pieces where you have a lot of options to choose from. So you can see here I'm using a piece of Providence, so I get that 15% headshot damage bonus, and I'm using a talent Vigilance, which increases my weapon damage by 25 25%. However, taking damage disables that buff for 4 seconds, and if you have the talent Perfect Vigilance on the bag the gift, it will disable it for 3 seconds. Now some of you may hate that talent, so you may decide to run with the talent Composure on your bag, which is going to give you less weapon damage when you're in cover. However, regardless if you take damage or not, you're always getting that weapon damage bonus. Which brings me back to something I've mentioned before, which is always have different variations of a build. You know, try a build out solo, then try the same build out in a group. So for instance, when you're talking about the talent Vigilance, when you're running solo, you may hate that talent because you're the only target that the NPCs are aiming at. However, when you're in a group, you're going to wind up taking less damage because there are obviously more agents around you. Therefore, it's a talent you might want to try at that point. As far as my skills are concerned, I'm using the Booster Hive, which delivers a stimulant to nearby allies that increases their weapon handling, hazard protection, and melee damage. And for my secondary skill, I am using the Assault Drone because it is a great distraction to NPCs and puts out damage as well. Now, one thing I want to touch base on really quick is we all know with the Dread Edict that the scope that comes on the weapon is not interchangeable. That is the scope you have to use, and with the talent you have on their chest, and it doesn't matter if the talent is Focus or Perfect Focus, the longer you are scoped with your weapon equals the more damage you're going to be putting out. So all you need to do is continuously keep aiming down sights, and you will not lose that bonus even when you're reloading the weapon. Now you can see at the bottom I'm at full stacks with the talent Perfect Focus. Now when I go to reload the weapon and I get back into the scope, you can see that talent has not decreased at all. So once again, do not let go of that left trigger and you will not lose that bonus at all. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, for me, the reason why I'm stacking weapon handling, crit hit chance, and crit hit damage is because I miss headshots a lot of the time. I mean, the bottom line is no one's going to make every single headshot they attempt, so for me, really spreading out the actual attributes really helps my build. However, with that being said, I know people that are surgical with their headshots. They use sniper builds all the time. They do not miss. So again, if that is you, my friend, stack that headshot damage. You're going to be putting out so much damage with this build. And again, because of the rate of fire, it is so much fun to use. Most of you know by now that one of my favorite aspects about putting these build videos together is the family we have here at the channel. So as always, if you have any tips or tricks you want to pass along to new and returning players, please let me know in the comment section down below, as the main goal is to try to help out as many people as possible. With all that being said, I want to take a moment as always and thank you all for your incredible support of this channel, and remind you, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know. I do my best to get back to everyone as quickly as I can. I do get a lot of messages, so if it takes a minute, I do apologize, but I'm doing my best here. At this point, I'm going to let the rest of the video play out. However, like I mentioned at the beginning of this thing, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well. But most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.